Hello and welcome to the beginning of our reading of John's Gospel. I'm going to go through fairly slowly the Gospel according to John. The Greek of John is particularly easy. It's probably the easiest in the entire New Testament. So it's probably a good book for those who are just beginning in their Greek and want to read some actual New Testament Greek. To work through with me, and I'll go reasonably slowly, but because the Greek is fairly straightforward, I won't go too slowly. So we begin, of course, with this very famous section in chapter 1, which some scholars believe may have been part of some early hymn, or perhaps even creedal statement that John has added to his gospel, because the language in it is slightly different to the rest of the gospel, but it does begin, does fit a very nice, powerful beginning, and of course it's very well known. So it begins in arche, literally in beginning. There's no article here, and the reason for that is probably, well, possibly because it's poetic, but also more believable is the fact that this is based on the beginning of Genesis. The Septuagint translation of the book of Genesis begins in the same way in arche without the article. So in the beginning, we have to put the article in English, was the Word, ein hologos, ein past tense of Amy, and the Word was proston theon. It's an odd use of pros again because this may be poetic. Translated as with, could also mean beside, but with God. This next phrase has caused a lot of grief for reasons I don't really understand. The verb to be takes the same case either side, and so to indicate which of the two is meant to be thought of as the subject, they use the article. So it simply means, and the Word was Theos, was God. Some groups have said, oh, it means a God, hence divine. It doesn't mean God at all here. Well, this is nonsense. The absence of the article is simply because the ein takes the same case each side, so the hot indicates what the subject is, as far as I can see. So the Word was God. Hutos ein, this man, or this thing, this logos, was in the beginning proston theon, with God. So that just really restates again what was just stated in the earlier bit. Pantodiao to egeneto, all things, egeneto, came into being, aorist from ginomai, di autu, through him, kai choris autu, and apart from him, egeneto, there was ude hen, not one thing, and there's problems with the punctuation here, but if we take away the full stop here, then it would be translated, and apart from him there was not one thing which had come into existence. En auto, zoe ein, in him was life, and the life was the light of men, or perhaps mankind, for the plural there of anthropon. And the light, phine, shines in the darkness, and the darkness auto cat elaben. This is from Catalambano, and this is a lovely example, I think, of what I might call a functional ambiguity. Catalambano has quite a range of meanings. It can mean to apprehend, to take power over, or it can mean to comprehend, to understand. And it probably here in this poetic usage may mean both. So the darkness has not either understood it or has not overpowered it, has not taken control over it. Anyway, whichever way you want to take that, but that's the verb is catalambano. So that's the first part, and now the story part begins. Egeneto anthropos. Egeneto is often used as just there was in biblical Greek. So there was anthropos, a man, apostelmenos, perfect passive participle from apostello, having been sent. So it's perfect because when you see the ending, we get a vowel gradation from stello, there's one lambda. It's passive because of the menos there, and it's perfect because we get a reduplication. You can't reduplicate the ste in the perfect, and so they just put an augment. So it's a perfect passive participle, having been sent from God, onoma auto, name for him, Ioannes, John. This is a Greek form of a Hebrew name. Hutos aelthen, he, you'll see they're using this hutos in the sense of that man. So we just translate, he came es marturian, as a witness. Hina plus the subjunctive, in order that he might bear witness, aorist subjunctive from marturio, peri tu photos, concerning the light, hina, in order that all might believe through him. Aorist subjunctive again from pistuo. Uk ein ekenos tophos. That man was not the light. But we get this elliptical phrase here. We have to understand he came or something. But he came in order that he might bear witness regarding the light. The light was the true light. So perhaps with ein at the beginning, this was. Ein often at the beginning of a sentence is that preparatory use. So it was the light, the true one, the true light, which, relative pronoun, photisde, which makes light. This is a verb formed from this phos. Phos is light, and photisdo is to make light, to enlighten. So which enlightens panta anthropon, each person. And this true light, we get a participle here, neuter participle from erchomai, coming into the world. So we could take that with the ein. So the true light was coming into the world as a periphrastic expression here. So the true light was coming into the world, the light which lightens every man. We could take the ein with the erchomen one. Ein ento cosmo, he was in the world, and the world egeneto came into being through him, and the world uk egno auton did not know him, did not recognize him. Did not recognize him. Egno from ginosko. He came eis ta idea. The idea is his own things, so it's very vague. It might mean to his own land, to his own people, to his own house, or so on. So he came unto his own, and now we get the personalizing of this, and his own people understood here did not paralambano receive, did not receive him. But as many as received him, aorist from lambano, edoken, aorist from didomi, he gave to them authority, genesthai, to become technotheou, children of God. Now tois plus the dative plural present participle from pistuo, to the ones believing in his name. Those, now we get uk ex heimatron. not from blood, that is from blood relationship, I think. Now we'd expect ude for both of these, but we get ook, and you'll see that there's a variant reading there, which you can look at yourself. So not from blood, nor by the will of the flesh, nor by the will of a man, but from God, egene thesan, they were begotten. Lots of interesting theology there, which I leave you to read in the theological works, but that's what the Greek says. Kai ho logos sarx egeneto, and the word became sarx flesh. Ginomai takes the same case either side, so this is nominative, as is logos. So the word became flesh and literally tabernacled. Skene is a tent. So this literally is pitched its tent among us. So often the old translations said tabernacled, modern translations just say dwelt. But it's a word with an interesting, rich history. It's skene is to pitch your tent. So he dwelt among us, and ethia samatha from the amai is the verb here. This is the aorist middle. We beheld. It's from the same root as the word theatre, or theatron, theatre. Same root as the word theorem in mathematics. So we beheld his glory, glory as of the only born, monogenous. This is a third declension adjective. So this is monogenes. It's a third declension adjective. This is the genitive. So you notice, remember that these, when they form their root, they have an epsilon, and then the third declension genitive is os. This contracts to give you us. And that's what's happening here. So although it may look to you like an accusative plural, it's actually not a genitive singular. So it's one of those third declension adjectives. So as of the only begotten from the Father, literally from a Father, pleres, full of grace and truth. Pleres takes a genitive, so charitos from charis, charitos, third declension, and aletheia is a genitive from that first declension, alpha, pure noun, aletheia, truth. John, historic present here, bears witness. So we'd probably say bore witness, but John likes occasionally to use historic presence. That is, verbs that are in the present that we have to put into the past in English. Mark is very, very fond of these, of course. So John bears witness regarding him, kai kekragen. This is from Krasdo. If you're looking this one up, this is from Krasdo, to cry out. Literally, and has cried out, legon, saying. This was the one, we have to supply teuton, of who, this was that one of whom I said. So this was the one about whom, understood, I said. The one coming after me, Gegenin, was in existence, emprosthen, before me. Now we get this odd idiom here, hoti protos mu ein, literally he was first of me. So he was first, perhaps before me. Many different translations of this difficult little phrase here. And again, it ties in with Johannine theology that not only did he come into existence, but he was. So you could say, because he was ahead of me, he was before me. Hoti ek tu plerometos, because from the fullness. This is another third declension noun from pleroma, fullness. Again, this is a word with a long, complicated theological history, the pleroma. here it's just, I think, from the fullness. The verb is pleroo, to fill. So from his fullness, we all, elabomen, have received, from lambano, here in the sense of receive. So from his fullness we have all received, even, I think rather than and here, even charin anti charitos. Charis has a funny accusative, it's charis charin. You do also get charita, the normal form for the third declension accusative singular, but you get this charin. So even grace upon grace, or grace in return for grace, or favour in return for favour. All of those are possible translations here. Because the law, edothe, aorist passive from didomi, was given through Moses. Grace and truth, egeneto, are through Jesus Christ. Udes, no one, hioraken, now that's from the verb horao. This is a very irregular verb, horao, future opsomai, aorist adon, and perfect hioraka. So no one has seen God, pantoti, ever. Monogenes theos, but God, the only begotten God, the one being in the bosom of the Father, that man or that person, egeisato, has revealed him. We get the word exegesis. It's almost in the sense of explain, has made him clear. Exhageamai is to explain or to lead you through something. So he has revealed him, he has explained him, made him clear. Now, so that's all very, very heavily theological, as a lot of John is. Although the Greek is not that difficult, the theology is very complicated. And this is the marturia. This is the abstract noun. Feminine nouns in Greek are often abstract, so this is the act of witness of John when the Jews from Jerusalem, priests and Levites, and our verb is up here, they sent, and then in brackets, to him. To give us some sort of object to this verb. They sent to him. In order that they might ask him. Tis su a, literally, you are who, so who are you? And it's a question. But the Greek says you are who. And he confessed from homologio, the omicron lengthens for the aorist. He confessed kai uk ainesato. This is from aneamai. And he did not deny, and then for emphasis we get a repetition, and he confessed. Now the hoti is hoti recitative, that is, it's like our inverted commas. Uk eimi, I am not the Messiah, the Christ. And eroteson auton, they asked him. Now that is from the verb erotao. It's another one a little bit tricky there. Erotao is to ask. This is the aorist. It's an alpha contract verb, and so in the aorist the alpha lengthens, we get an augment, and we get the aorist ending. And they asked him, Ti'un, what then? Are you Elijah? Are you Elias? And he says, historic present again, Ukemi, I'm not. And hoprophetos sue, are you the prophet? Kai epekrithe, from apokrinomai, and he answered, no. And they then said to him, they therefore said to him, Tisse, who are you? Understand, tell us. It's not in the Greek, but you have to understand, give us an answer. So tell us, in order that domen, this is an aorist subjunctive, first person plural from didomi. We might give apokrisin an answer, tois pempsasi dative plural participle, aorist dative plural participle, to the ones having sent us. Tileges perisiatur, what do you say about yourself? And he said, Ephe. Now, Ephe, you will come across, there is a verb phemi, to say, and it's an enclitic verb, and this is the aorist, he said, which is quite common, and of course we get a quotation from the Old Testament. So this particular edition, it puts the exact in bold print the exact words from the Septuagint if they're used, and then ego was not part of the original quotation in the Septuagint. So understand, I am, understand, a phone, the voice, ontos, genitive participle, of one crying out in the wilderness, euthunate. Now this is an imperative, aorist imperative from euthuno, I make straight. So this is make straight the way of the Lord. Again, there's no article here, it's of a Lord, but it's used in the sense of God here, of the Lord. In the Septuagint, the kurios without the article generally refers to God, and with an article generally refers to a human master, a human Lord. So without the article, this just refers to God. Kathos, as Isaiah the prophet said, so that's what this quotation is from, and kai epistalmenai ersan ekton pharisaion. And there were those being sent, they had been sent from the Pharisees. So this is epistalmenoi asan. This is a pluperfect passive. It's done using the verb to be. So it's epistalmenoi asin. They had been sent from the Pharisees. In other words, there was a group sent from the Pharisees, and they asked him and said to him, why therefore do you baptize if you are not the Messiah, nor Elijah, nor the prophet? And John gave answer to them, saying, I baptize in water, or perhaps with water is probably better here. In has a range of meanings. It can mean in, among. It can be used with a dative in the sense of with. So I baptize with water. Mesos humon. This is a funny use of mesos, literally the middle of you. So in your midst, in the middle of you, stands someone, understood, whom you do not know. So that's the Greek's idiomatic here. So in your midst, meson humon, idiomatic, stands someone, understood, whom you do not know. The one coming after me, of whom I am not worthy. So we get a genitive relative here, of whom I am not worthy. Now hina is this funny use of hina here, that I might loose, this is an aorist subjunctive from luo, I might loose the himanta, this is the strap of his sandal, it's the thing you put underneath your foot. So I am not, and so the who is really going with this as his. So I am not worthy to undo the thong or the strap of his sandal. So you can take the who in English with this hupodermatos. These things took place in Bethany. Peran takes the genitive, beyond the Jordan, where John was baptizing. Again, we're getting these periphrastic uses of the participle, which is much closer to English than it is to Greek. Greek generally doesn't use this very often, but John does, so he's using the verb to be plus participles the way we do in English, but that's not the usual way of doing it in the Greek language. Te eperion, on the following day. Now the te here, we have to understand hemera. We have to understand hemera here. So on the day eparion, following, arios is tomorrow, so on the tomorrow day. So on the following day, blepe, he sees, historic present, this is subject here is John again. John sees Jesus coming to him and says, historic present, ide hoamnos to theou, behold the Lamb of God. Ho iron, hot with the participle, the one taking. Iro is to raise, but it can also mean to take away. Aphyrio in Greek is to subtract. So iron is taking. So the one taking the sin, hamatian, of the world. Hutos estin, this is the one, hupohu, on behalf of whom I said. So we'd say about whom I said. A man comes after me who existed emprosthen mu, before me, poti protos muain. It's the same phrase we've had before, because he was ahead of me. He was literally first of me. So he was first before me. Cargo is crasis for kai ego. The two words get put together and you get cargo. So, and I, aidain is the past tense from oida, a difficult verb. It's perfect in form, so this is pluperfect in form, but this is present in meaning, and this is imperfect in meaning. And I did not know him, but hina, in order that he might be, this is a passive subjunctive here, that he might be revealed to Israel. On account of this I came. So we've got to change the order a bit. But that, so Allah, but I came baptizing with water in order that he might be made known to Israel. So it was on account of this. So for this reason, I'll do it again a bit better. So for this reason, on account of this, for this reason I came baptizing in water, in order that he might be made visible, he might be made clear to Israel. So the word order is a little bit odd there. And John bore witness, saying that tet theamai. Now we had theamai before. This is the perfect of this verb. I have seen the Spirit. Katabainon is a present participle, neuter singular, from katabino. So the participle will be by known in the nominative masculine, and in the neuter it's on, because it's agreeing with pneuma. So I have seen the Spirit descending, going down, hose like, and that's one of the meanings of hose, like a peristeron, like a dove from heaven, and it settled or remained epauton on him. Cargo, and I did not know him, but the one having sent me, that's the aorist participle from pempo, used with the article like a noun. So the one having sent me to baptize with water, he, that one, said to me, upon whomever, ephon an, upon whomever you might see, this is ides, aorist subjunctive from horao. The aorist from horao is of course adon, and the root stem here is id, and so this is the aorist root, and it's the subjunctive. So upon whomever you might see the Spirit descending, that's the same neuter participle we had before, and menon, another neuter participle, all agreeing with pneuma, remaining on him. Hutos, that one, is the one baptizing with, literally, Spirit holy, with Holy Spirit. Cargo, and I have seen, Hiorica is the perfect again from horao, and I have borne witness that this man, this one, is the Son of God. And we might leave that bit there, and we shall resume in another video.